Hi guys, welcome to Frickin' Jeep. My name's John and I'm a mess. It is a mess out here today. I'm trying to cut that pine wood up and just kind of putting along at a slow rate of speed. It's very muddy. It was raining all morning, raining quite a bit last night, and I don't really work in the rain. I don't really work at all anymore. I just kind of putz around at what I'm doing. I raked the sawdust around. I'll show you in a minute. Rake some sawdust over there so it's not too muddy right here under the roof, but you get that way and that way of the roof. Go figure that. It's wetter. Don't know why that is. Anyhow, I'm going to cut this pine up. I think I started it in yesterday's video. I don't know where I was in yesterday's video because I haven't reviewed yesterday's video, but I know I'm where I am on that log. I got something in my pocket. I don't know what it is. I have to look at it. Oh, a tire tool. I know why I got that there. I fixed those tires, and one of those tires, I don't even know if I've shown that in the video yet. One of those tires had a leak in it. So I marked where the leak was, talked to the guy this morning. He's supposed to come up and pick it up tomorrow. And so I come back and the tire's flat. And I thought, well, where's my mark at? Where it didn't have a mark on it. It was the other one. And I looked at it and the valve stem was leaking like a sieve. So I had to go get a valve stem, put it in, air it up, take it around front. So, because he can't drive back here. There's nothing to make it back here right now. Let me show you some mud. Oh, I got all this cleaned up. Like I think I said I was going to do that. Then I ran out of gas in the chainsaw and I said, heck with it. Look at the mud. See, I raked that out. So I'll be stacking in here, but I'll probably go down that path to stack this in there. That little bit of water won't hurt this thing. It'll dry out the way they are. They'll dry out pretty quick. And I got them all stickered. So there's the mud. There's that. I got some of them thrown in the new bucket here. I regenerated my fire. Funny, I got a call this morning. Well, actually, it was 12:15 last night, but it was still this morning. And 99% of the time, 99.5% of the time, I'm up. But I wasn't up that time. I was so bored, I went to bed and sore. So I went to bed, and my neighbor was up there because his house is, I don't know, up that way. He says, "You see something flashing down here?" When I talked to him this morning, I called, "What did you need last night? What was important?" And he had something flashing. I said, "Oh, I had so much trash. I started a burn barrel." I mean, it was getting to be awful. Anyhow, the morning I spent getting stuff ready for Carlisle on the ping pong table. So anyhow, put your ears on. We're going to try to make some boards. I'm not going to be going very fast. Not that I go fast anyway, but it's a little slippery maybe because of the mud. That's usually why I don't saw in the mud, but still running. go too bad. I gotta move this stuff over. This wood here gets stacked after the next log. It was one of those situations where this was that log that had that real nasty end. If you look at the video from last night or the night before, you can see the nasty end I cut off of it, and that's what's down there burning right now. Anyhow, so I'll just slide this over. Then when I start cutting boards off that other one, I can put them right on the pile over there. That, and my whole purpose of YouTube when I started was to help people or answer questions and stuff like that. A couple people have asked questions, and I got another one that reminded me I didn't answer the other one. How are these, how do you hold a thin board? Now this board here now is 3 3/4, okay? It's or close to that. I'll get the ruler and see what it is. Okay, what are we at? Almost 3 3/4 here, and that says almost, that says a little over 3 1/4. So that's a little bit off right now, but that's all right. I'm a little off. Anyhow, and then another. Well, this is. I'm gonna flip this over. And one thing, when you flip it over, you want to make sure that you have a nice crisp edge on the bottom when you start cutting thin boards. So I don't want to be cutting, if it's rounded on the, you can't see it in here. It looks like it's pretty good in there. Just a couple bad, that's where that bad spot was, and this little bit of bark. Anyhow, I'm going to flip this over and show you these dogs. I guess I'll take this one off. I'm trying to keep my gloves on so I don't get all sticky, and trying to work the camera, which it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Boom. That's a pretty board there, guys. Anyway, I'm going to take you off here, but well, if I take you off, then it's so shaky you can't see what's going on. I don't know if this is, I'll have to pull this out. There's a little lever that comes out. Somebody asked me, how do you know where you're at? Can you see the slots in it? Now I slotted this one bigger because I didn't like the way it held, and I still don't really like the way it holds, and I'll show you in a minute why. But that's kind of what I go by, and you just push this and goes in, or sometimes you'll see me push it and that's as far out as it goes. And the dog itself has got a spring in here, so right now it's in gear, but if you put your thumb here, push that, then it neutralizes that and it goes up and down. And then when you're also dogging, you want to pull and get your slop out of here, because if you put it in here, then you got all that slop it'll show up on you. And another thing, you don't want to drop them dogs on your fingers. That hurts. So everything's kind of wet and slimy enough, I'm not getting too stickified. Let me set this up. All right. Now see, that's got a little bit of a spot there and a little bit of spot there. So you want the nice square edge on the bottom. And now on the first, I gotta see if you're in there. I can't really see. This slot here, you should be able to cut a 1/2 inch board, cut down to 1/2 inch, but you never want to go below 1 inch, I would say. So you just push it in all the way and pull it out. And when that goes, and push against the log a little bit, drop it down in. And see how it bites in? Well, another thing, it's also angled. So as it goes further down, it's pushing that log further in. So that's basically what it is. So that answers 2 people's questions. I push it in, pull it out for the last one, drop it down. Now see how this one catches about 1/8 of an inch more than that one? I like that. And then you just push it down, but you can't push down too hard on this sticky wood, because it has a tendency to crack out. So you push it all in. Now see, there it came out too far. See, that one doesn't come out as far as I'd like it to come out either. And I don't know, there's no adjustment on that, or no adjustment that I know of on that. It's just I guess the slop in the thing. So now at this point, if that ruler was on, I'd go to 3 1/2. Then, because I'm cutting 1 inch boards, 3 1/2, then I pull it one time and it'd go down to 2 1/4, then pull it one time and go down to 1. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for here. I'm gonna put you back over here because you're not in the way over here. First thing I'm gonna do is take a skim cut off of it just to make sure it's all right. Remember, it was three and something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And my ruler isn't quite right. It does what it kind of wants to do. But it's rough cut lumber. So I'm going to skim it at about a little over. I'd rather have a fat board than a thin board. I'm going to skim it at 3 5/8, about where it's at. Once again, like I said, I'm doing this for show and tell, helping people. I put her at three and a half. I don't know if you can kind of see that board next to my finger. Pretty close. That's so that your last board will be the right thickness. This one here, whoop, that's about, I don't know, you can kind of see it. And then this one here, it's about the same. It's probably within a 1/16 of an inch, and there's the dogs. So you're this far away from the blade. The problem with pine wood, though, and you probably caught me hitting one of these dogs a long time ago because I was cutting a really thin board. As these go down in, let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, which there's just so much slop in them now. Well, it was out further. I can't do it with one hand. Okay, it was out like this, and see how it gets at an angle? So the blade was missing up here, or missing here, but it hit there, and I polished the tip off of one of those. I don't remember which one, but that's how close you get. Now I could have cut another 1/4 inch. Probably made a 3/4 inch board, but see how this one's the one I like the best. And I've switched them around, but see how this one's really in there, and you just don't get a good enough bite on that, or I don't like, but that's how it works. All right, I'm gonna bring you back. I got to do some moving around and stuff. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Well, I'm about ready to do a couple of those trims. I don't normally stack them one on top of each other because wrestling them around and moving them in and all that kind of stuff, I find it just as fast as move one at a time. You know, you're trying to shortcut by putting two of them on. I've talked to you about shortcuts, and those two both came in at 10 inches, but sometimes you get them at oddball things, and then you got to trim them and then flip them over, or you lose a lot. I won't lose anything on those. If you trim like 4 at a time, a lot of times you'll lose 2 inches on one board. I don't know. Anyhow, these are the boards. I don't know if you can get a good gander at them. Nice looking boards. Now they're 11.5 feet long, so you'll consider them 11 foot long. See if I can count this high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. I got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 66 board foot there. They're a foot wide, inch thick. So that's 66 board feet if my poor math is correct for time. Times I'm only charging 75 cents a board foot for these boards. So the guy's getting a heck of a deal. So nose is running. Sorry about that. Excuse me. So here's where we're going to be on this. I'm going to cut those and take them off, run them back, take them off, because ZZ didn't show up, and I can't forget the Eddie didn't show up today for work, so I got to come over and unload them too. Not too bad. I've done it before, like 35 years of. Oh, I forgot to turn the saw on. Guys, Bill, you forgot to tell me to turn the saw on before I go back there. Let's see, button. it goes from here. It's time to move the 3 boards over to the other pile, and I got 3 more to do. So I'm sure I'll go to 75 board feet on this log. So we'll see you in a little bit now. Bye-bye. Hi guys, welcome to Freaking Cheap. My name's John, and we're about ready to load that log. It's 15 inches in diameter, maybe a little bit more. This is the small end. 13.5 feet long. It's pretty round. I already metal detected it, and we're going to try to get it onto them there blocks. So just thought I'd bring it along. Just got to put I'm not going to put my mittens on today. I'll try to pull this down and see where it glides into. Nothing better than a round log, is there? Now I should have my mittens on so I can push. I'm favoring that side down there, so I got to push this carriage down. Nice thing about a light carriage, you can get it where you want pretty easy. I could probably roll that on by hand. That's why nice balanced logs are pretty good. This is the straightest one so far, so it ought to yield some pretty decent wood. But it's not very much in diameter, so it's not going to be much. The next one's going to be pretty good too. All right, let's see if I can't just roll it. Look at that. Yeah, it's not too unhappy, but I think, you know, I'll leave it alone. I've got to put that down a little bit. Bring this out. And see where it comes to. Line it up with a track the best I can. Now, looking down, it looks pretty good. Sometimes, after having some of those others, it's nice to have one that's pretty, it's got a low spot there, pretty willing to be cut. Went too far. And light carriage, I might just be able to bring it down. All right, now that's 15 inches. Plus I got that taper out a little bit. I probably want to cut it at 16. I don't know if you're seeing that now. And we got a little bit of interesting growth on it. I think I'll take a 15.5. I must only be out a ½ inch. Yeah, I'm only out about a ½ inch. So you pull this out here and you try to cut the taper half and half. It really, yeah, it makes a difference because then you're cutting straighter to the grain. I'm going to take one cut. It's getting late. It's past my dinner time, which my dinner time was a long time ago. But actually, things are going pretty decent here. It's cold and damp and wet, but everything's moving along pretty good. Looks like there might be something on the camera there. Anyhow, I thought I was going to take a cut. I think I'll pass. I'm going to go eat dinner. I got all the stuff. You didn't see how much stuff I threw over there, but you might be able to see it down there, all the way down there in the burn pile. Oh, I got 3 more 10s, 2 8s, and a 6 out of that. So you can figure out that if you want. Yeah, I think I'll call it quits. There ain't no point in pushing. I'm an old geezer. So we'll see you back when I get ready to saw this thing tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so it'll be a lot better. So we'll see you now. Bye-bye.